Hi everyone, I'm here today to explain kind of the basics of how websites work vis-a-vis web domains and web hosting. If you're not familiar with those terms, if you're not really sure how the whole kind of process works, that's what this video is for. So I've got a great analogy, so I hope that you'll stick with me through it. So basically, if you have a website um, up at a certain address, like google.com, think of google.com, which is the domain name, as like a street address. And then at that particular address on this road, um, there's like kind of a virtual house, and basically that's the web space, that's the web hosting. And then when you actually go to create your website and move your website in, you're going to have a lot of files. You're going to have HTML files, CSS files. We'll go over all of that in future videos. And then also some images. Think of that kind of as your furniture that you want to move into your virtual house. So you're going to have your house all furnished and everything at the address. Um, so the basically you can't totally just teleport your stuff straight to the house though. You kind of need to call a mover. So basically, when you go to upload your website files to your web space, you're going to use what's called an FTP program to transfer your files, and that's just a fancy way of saying you need to upload some files using a specific program. Once everything is uploaded, you can check it out, and then if it looks good, you can start handing out your domain name or your street address, and then everyone can come by virtually and check out your cool virtual house/website. So just to be clear, in this analogy, the street address is the domain name, which is also known as a URL. The house is the web hosting or the web space. How this works is that you rent web space, which is just basically like kind of a virtual hard drive from an entity called a web host. There's a lot of those around. You don't have to worry about that at all for this part though. Um, so the moving van is what's called the FTP software, which you will be working with a little bit, and that transfers files from your computer to the website or to the virtual house. And then finally, the furniture is your website content, and so that's going to be the web files like HTML files, CSS files, pictures, etc. So that's kind of how the whole process works. For this specific project, basically, we're going to be using kind of a different setup because we're working with the LIU servers. So think of it like we have dibs on kind of a cool address at a cool house, but we can't quite get to it yet. It's gated community. I'm stretching the analogy a little bit, but stick with me. So basically, we're going to need approval before we can get into that final house. So before we get that, we have to get everything all set up. So we're going to kind of set up a temporary house, a temporary web space outside of that. And then we're all going to work together on our websites and kind of move in and get everything all ready, ready to go. And then once everyone's all finished, we'll call the movers and we'll call the gate guy with the key and we'll get everything approved and then move to the final website or the final location. So I hope this was helpful in explaining kind of the process of all these files and how we're going to be shifting them around and how it works online. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. If you're not sure how any of this works, I'm happy to explain it more. Yep, so that is the end of the video. Thank you very much and goodbye.